Welcome to the Behind Them Sticks podcast, brought to you by TSWS Gaming.
Come and talk to me, Lennard Ray.
That's
Come
your
on.
name.
Come and talk to me. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby. Listen, I'm just saying we can rule the world, just me and you. If you quit playing, won't you take the chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk to me. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Look, see we vibing and you know it's true. Baby, what it do? Do for me and I'ma do for you. No doubt about it, boo. See, I'm a Midwest king, looking for myself a queen. Ready to chase a dream with a dope self-esteem. You find it in all I know, and that's for real. You get to shaking that ass on the floor, and I see what's real. No disrespect, I just tell it like it is. Do you ever want some kids? What your ultimate goals? Maybe I can help with those. The mo was broke when he made you a blessing. You looking like a whole buffet, and I need some seconds. You say you had promiscuous ways, that was back in the day. I'll be alive, I say I did it. That shit was a phase. So baby, take this journey with me. You can pick the time and place, this nigga isn't picky. Smile on your face, I know the deal. Sign and deliver after seal. I can see it in her eyes, this one right here for real. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby, listen, I'm just saying. We can rule the world, just me and you if you quit playing. Won't you take the chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk, yeah. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Lady, you so far ahead of these others, just like a ship on the horizon. Picking up on your vibe, signal stronger than Verizon. All the thoughts that I've been contemplating, ain't no time for faking or debating. You the one, ain't no mistaking. Look, I see your swag different. Always carry yourself like you ready, you know the mission. I had to know you, I'm tempted. I can see why you timid. Hold up now, baby, listen. Just take that dance with me, I can show you that there's a difference. I'm locked in. I throw away my playaways because you pop in. A shooter always shoot a shot. With you by my side, I guarantee we'll reach the top. I put that on God and them, I give you all that I got. So baby, take this journey with me. You can pick the time and place, this nigga isn't picky. Smile on your face, I know the deal. Sign and deliver after seal. I can see it in her eyes, this one right here for real. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby, listen, I'm just saying. We can rule the world, just me and you if you quit playing. Won't you take the chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk, yeah. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk to me.
What up, everybody? Welcome to another fantastic episode of Behind Them Sticks with your boy Ham Solo 05 Gaming here with you on the TSWS Gaming channel on YouTube. Welcome. Thank you, everybody, for stopping in. Too Big, I see you up in the chat. Those of you that want to holla at us while we are, sitting here chatting and whatnot, just go on ahead and do so in the chat. I'll do my best to ask questions as necessary if I deem them appropriate enough to ask from the chat or whatnot. But let's get it going here. I'd like to welcome our guest here today. He's he's one of the two from the What's Up podcast. And then Bari Strife. Let's just get on into it. What the fuck is going on, dog? How you doing today? Oh, hold on a second real quick. My shit went back to default. So let me catch that shit. All right, you're good now.
Yeah, man. What is good, guys? What is up, YouTube? What's up, everyone, man? Appreciate the invite. You know what I mean? So we're going to get behind the sticks and talk about a little history. You know what I mean? But, it's a pleasure being here. Thank you for the invite. Sorry for the no camera right now. But, yeah, we're going to get that situated very, very soon. But
Yeah, you said something about a laptop or something like that, or you're like building a new PC or something.
Yeah, I just got a new like gaming rig because I used to do everything off my gaming laptop, but that broke. You know what I mean? The CPU and everything just got messed up. And yeah, I'm just starting over scratch with everything. But slowly but surely building myself up with, everything back in order.
So we have Jay Bari here is going to tell us what the 4070s and 4080s and 4090s are looking like, right?
Absolutely. I'm in there like swimwear. Hopefully day one. We'll see.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So you are you are looking at those and thinking about them.
Yeah, I'm definitely thinking about it. Because right now I got a 3080 Ti, which is amazing. Dope graphics card. But you know what I mean? If the bump is substantial enough, I would definitely divulge in there. You know what I mean? So
that's what's up. That's what's up. Anyways, one last time shout out or not last time, but from right now where we're at. Shout out to the chat. Strictly Gaming. What up, brother? Good to see you back up in here. Nelson Gaming, what's cracking? Neo Game Spark, what up, dog?
Yeah.
Man, it's good to see some of y'all up in the chat. I haven't seen some of y'all for a little bit. I mean, I see Strictly, coming up and in and out of here all the time. It's really good to see that, bro. He was actually on the show a little while back. It was a pretty amazing episode. I had a blast. Bro's a good dude that people be looking at sideways. So this is what
Strictly.
Yeah,
we're looking at Strictly sideways, man.
You know Twitter, man. Everybody be tripping and stuff like that. It just is what it is, and sometimes I'm like, Strictly wild, but at the same time, he is who he is, and I respect him for what he does. I mean, it doesn't bother me. In other words, is what I'm trying to say at the end of the day. He does what he does. I mean, he's a very passionate gamer. He will talk to you straight up if you come at him sideways. It just kind of is what it is. I stay in my own lane, so it is. So I don't give a damn.
Straightforward guy. But I'm here, good dude though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. But anyways, bruh, gotta let everybody know what you've been up to lately, what you've been playing, what's happening.
Yeah, man, I've been playing a lot, man. So we've been playing this doodle beta for Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. You know what I mean? The game, I just can't jam with it, man. Like I can do well in the game, but it will require me to play some type of style that I don't want to play. But you can rush in the game and all that, but you just gotta wait, and it holds you down too much, in my personal opinion. And one of the reasons why I love Call of Duty is because Call of Duty caters to all play styles. It doesn't hold you down. You want to play this type of way, you play that type of way. You want to camp, you go camp. You want to rush, you want to rush. If you want to play the perimeter, you play the perimeter. But this game, it just feels like they're just penalizing rushers way too much. And all the fixes that they said they was going to do in beta 2, they didn't do none of that, in my personal opinion. It's still just bad, in my personal opinion. But yeah, I've been playing that. Been playing this game called Solstice on PlayStation 5.
I looked at that game. That game reminds me of Marlo Briggs. I don't know if you ever played that game.
I've heard of it, but I never played it.
Continue.
But it's a dope game. I thought this was like going to be like a Souls, one of those Soul clones type game. But no, this game is like DMC Nier Automata with mixture of God of War. You know what I mean? And it's pretty dope, like the old school God of War, like the trilogy.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The hack and slash.
Yeah. Been also playing SD Gundam Battle Alliance. I love the hell out of that game. That's like my, let me pop in here and play some Gundam. I'm a big Gundam fan.
That just came out not that long ago, right?
Yeah, it came out late August. And yeah, pretty much trying to complete Xenoblade Chronicles 3 on the 6th chapter in that game. Got about like 80 some hours in it. And yeah, I'm almost done with it as far as what everybody's telling me.
You rocking with the OLED?
Yeah, I actually got like 4 switches.
God damn, I thought I was crazy for having 2.
Yeah, I got the original, the OLED, and I got 2 handheld ones because the first one I bought was the gray, and I didn't want it, but I just bought it by default. I was like, you know what, you was like, I'm in that moment where I was like, all right, let me get a new device. But then I saw that the yellow one, no, the teal one was available, and I had to snatch that up. I had to snatch that up.
You wild. So, all right. So before we go any further, I want you to go on ahead and let everybody know. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, let's be real. Like 80% of the people in the chat know who you are. But just in case, we got some people that are listening late, or some people that just coming to check out the channel that are wondering who you are. Go on ahead and let everybody know like what gaming and social media platform that they can find you on, so they could either holla at you, game with you. I know you and Persona be doing them, them like Call of Duty nights and stuff like that. So yeah, go on ahead and let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, I'm Jay Bari. I'm not strictly, but I'm mostly a PlayStation, centric, gamer and YouTuber. YouTube channel is Jay Bari. My Twitter is JBari_. Yeah, and I've been gaming all my life. Love gaming. Love to talk about the stuff that I'm playing. Love to give tips and tricks in games and all that stuff. And that's pretty much what my channel is really surrounded around. But I do podcasts as well. On my channel, where I kind of like to go for like not a political correct podcast on my own channel called Speak from the Heart. Then I have a We Gon Talk podcast, and then me and my bro Persona, we also have a dedicated PlayStation podcast called What's Up PlayStation Podcast, and you can find that on What's Up PlayStation YouTube channel, which we're going to be doing our 100th episode this Saturday, so that's going to be fun. So
congratulations.
Yeah, man. I dibble and dabble in the console wars as well. A lot of people know me for console warring and all that stuff, especially back in the day. I kind of been on my best behavior. I've been a little bit nicer than how I've been when I started YouTube and started coming in a gaming community. But I still know how to ruffle some feathers out there.
You do know how to ruffle some feathers. You and Persona are really good at ruffling up some feathers. I tell you guys that much. But there's a lot that people don't know behind the scenes. Like, you got, friends and stuff like that are, advocating for the opposite. Correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
So,
yeah, I mean,
so people think people think it's real black and white, that like you only fuck with only PlayStation guys, fuck everybody else. But that's really not the case. The case is like you're just looking at Xbox pretty much from a business aspect, not a personal aspect of what you like. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I hate Xbox. It's just certain things that they do, or I just don't vibe with as a gamer. Not saying, because I've had an Xbox, I've had Xbox consoles, but the only reason why I don't really have an Xbox now is that there's no real necessary need for me to get one, because I can play their games on PC. But really and truly, when I first came into this community back in like 2012, 2013, it was like Xbox centric YouTube channels and gamers that put me on and put me on to be a guest on their podcast and stuff like that. So I was always cool with like Xbox individuals, because they know the things that I'm saying is nothing like detrimental to like personal life or nothing. It's just like fun and games and jokes. Like, there's a line. They know I won't cross certain lines or whatnot. So it was always a respect there with a lot of Xbox individuals in the community.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting when people generalize people like yourselves, or maybe even like people like King David, right? So like let's look at the the coin on both sides, right? Because I mean both sides talk shit, right? But it seems like it seems like, since I rock with a lot more, what you would call Xbox or whatnot, because I play Xbox for primarily, and then PlayStation is kind of like the secondary one for me. It's the opposite for you. So you probably hear a lot of, you know, the shit, you know, that goes on from your side, from your guys' perspective first. So what I'm trying to say is that, you know, you can barely trust anybody that you hear, like you ask somebody, you know, who is this person? 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to get the answer that I'm looking for. And that's why I have you here today, is because I'm just like, fuck, I'm not finna just ask people, what's Bari like? Is he cool? You know, is he down to be on the show, or is he down to talk to somebody that's from the Xbox community or something like that? I figure I'm just going to step up and just holler at you my goddamn self, drop DM into your into your spot and see if you would holler back, and you did. So that, I mean, a lot of people ask me how I get, you know, the guests and stuff like that, or how I choose. I just ask. I don't give a shit. I just ask because at the end of the day, we're all doing the same thing. We're playing video games. I want to get your takes and shit on it. And if you say something I don't like, it just is what it is. I mean, I don't gotta die on the sword.
Yeah, I mean that's life. You know what I mean? Not everyone agrees with everyone. You have family members that I'm pretty sure you have major disagreements with, but at the end of the day, you know that's your fam or whatnot. I know it's not as drastic as that, but just giving a example, like, yeah, gaming.
It's as
everybody
simple
has
as that,
different
though.
walks of life. Yeah, everybody has different walks of life. Everybody has different tastes. You know what I mean? Like, I'm cool with mad people in gaming where most of their gaming takes I don't agree with, or they're the games that they play, I don't like those games, but you know, we still cool. There's still a level of respect there. And at the end of the day, like, if I attack something, or if I say a joke, or, you know, say something, this is whack, you know, they know it's aside. This is a joke. You know what I mean?
I got you. But anyways, let's move on from that bullshit right now. Let's go on ahead and jump in to what you came here for, and that's to talk about the history of your gaming and whatnot.
Sir.
So so let's jump into that, because that shit's fun to talk about. It's always fun to reflect and remember that old shit and, you know, where you came from. And before we actually jumped on to the show, you were telling me that you from Jamaica. You ain't even from the States. The first console that you even fucked with. So go ahead.
Mana Yadi, you know what I mean? Yadi man. Jamaica, yeah, from Jamaica.
Gotcha. And yeah, you were saying the first console that you ever really even fucked with was the NES.
Yeah, that was the first home console. 1990 NES. Like, the first gaming thing I ever had was like a Tiger handheld. But yeah, when it comes to like consoles, yeah, it was NES.
I remember the Tiger handheld with you got the Aladdin. You had there were all sorts of them fucking games. You had a Lion King. I mean, damn near Disney games were handhelds.
The simple platformer ones that's like generic as hell. You know, yeah.
You remember having to tilt them motherfuckers so you could see it right when the battery was dying and shit.
Yes, sir. Blinking out. And, you know.
But let us know what was like having the NES. What games were you rocking with back then?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So when I got the NES, obviously you had Super Mario Bros. Had the Duck Hunt collection with the gun. I forgot the light gun. You know, everybody's up close on the TV shooting them ducks. Nobody was standing back. Like, if you were standing back shooting that gun, that light gun, you was the shit. You know what I mean? You was that dude. But I know my family, everybody was cheating.
This guy right here.
They were all up in the screen just shooting. But nah, man, I had a lot of games for Nintendo, man. I remember, I forgot the baseball game we used to rock out with a lot. Contra, the Batman games, a whole bunch of I can go ham. Come on, my older brother, yeah, there you go, the light gun, there you go. My older brother, like, he was heavy into games, so he always would get the newest game. My mom, she would get the console, but she didn't really get the games like that. It was my brothers that was like getting the games and all that. And yeah, we used to rock with a whole bunch of games, man, for Super Nintendo. And you know, back then, if you had a certain game and your friend didn't have it, you just switch out. So there was, like, you know, it was a constant. I got this here, I got this double dribble, but let me borrow, you know, this or whatnot. You know what I mean? So it was always a constant switching of games, like, because I used to do that a lot with the Zelda games. There's certain games I had. My friends, they had the Zelda games. I would just switch out for the week. You know what I mean? If the week ran out, we got to give it back. I give him another game that he don't have to get that Zelda game back because Zelda was a little bit longer. But yeah, definitely tons of games on Super Nintendo.
Did you fuck with Arch Rivals?
Nah, I didn't mess with that. I mean, there's stuff I definitely missed for sure, but
Arch Rivals was NBA Jam before NBA Jam.
Oh, word? Yeah.
Yeah, run around and just punch people and steal the basketball and run down the court, slow motion dunk.
Sports game I definitely was rocking with was Double Dribble on Nintendo console. Double Dribble was the shit. You know, that was a life changer for me. Double Dribble and all that, man.
Word. All right, so Nintendo was, the start. Yeah, that was the gateway. What was the next console? Because I'm kind of curious when PlayStation actually showed up.
Yeah, my next console was actually Sega Genesis, like right after.
Let's go.
Got the Nintendo console like in the 1990. I remember that for sure. And then it was like, I want to say like a year and a half later, got the Sega Genesis. Yeah, that was a game changer because I became like a huge Sega Genesis like fanboy. Defending Sega and talking about Sega in the lunchrooms. Like Sega was my shit, yo. Streets of Rage and everything. Ken Griffey, Junior Baseball, all that stuff. I used to love all that. Sega. And right after that, around 96, because I got a PlayStation a year later. But the same year I got a PlayStation console, I got a Super Nintendo. And, that year when I got that Super Nintendo, because I used to just play Super Nintendo at my friend's crib and all that stuff before I got it. And that year, I had a whole bunch of games to play for Super Nintendo because my friends was giving me games. I had a whole bunch of games that's queued up that I already had. Like, that's my first time I ever played Final Fantasy in that year, Final Fantasy 6. And then, yeah, just loved the hell out of that. But the same year, later on that year, that's when I got the PlayStation 1. And yeah, that's what formed me today, J Bar today, 96. So.
All right, whoa. Let's slow down and let's go back to the Sega because I was just asking the chat what was the best Sega game. So if y'all in the chat and y'all want to list off your favorite Sega game, Amun Raw 3K says Road Rash. What do you say, J Barry? I'm actually gonna agree with Road Rash because Road Rash 2 was my favorite Sega game.
I like Road Rash. Yeah, I definitely, when I think about like Sega Genesis, all of the best memories, definitely Streets of Rage series was in there. Because I even to this day I will play Streets of Rage and let's rock out with that game, man. Especially 2 with Skates in there.
Skates, yeah. that dude was wild.
That was a game changer, man. But man, best Sega, that's a good one. Like
Damien said Streets of Rage 2 as well. I mean, it is fantastic. And yeah, that Venom Maximum Carnage, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that was lit.
That joint's nice.
Sega, I could go all day, man. Like the X-Men game and the Avengers game. I used to love all them shits, man, for Sega.
And Sega had the sports games, though. They had the best sports games, 100%. Basketball, they had the live, and obviously they had like the NBA jams and whatnot. But remember how many damn different basketball games there were back then, and football games that there were back then. They had Deion Sanders had his own football game. ESPN had their own football game. So
actually competition out there. Yeah. Baseball too. There's a whole bunch of baseball games.
Man, and I mean, although I don't miss like how rough those games were, I do miss how many different developers were making sports games and stuff like that, even on into like all the way up until pretty much like the PS3 360 days. We were getting sports games for all different types of consoles, and I really miss that. But anyways, Super Nintendo now. Super Nintendo, you gotta let me know what game, what games that up there, like goated.
Oh yeah, yo, like I said, I was a Sega fanboy. But really and truly, when I got a Super Nintendo, Like Super Nintendo was like in my top, like I would say top 3 console all time. I love the hell out of that shit. But yeah, definitely top game for Super Nintendo. I'll have to say Final Fantasy VI. That was my gateway into Final Fantasy, and I love that game to death. Even when I was younger, like that, didn't really have the true understanding of that game. But even when you play the game, continue, like I get this now. This stuff is just open up much deeper and wider for you when you get older. Like your knowledge just increases and all that. Definitely Super Mario World is up there for me as well. Yo, you know what? Too Earthbound. I love the hell out of Earthbound. Like you're gonna notice a lot of something that's very common denominator with me is going to be like a lot of RPG type games. But yeah, Street Fighter as well is up there. Street Fighter 2. But as far as like favorite, it's definitely going to be in the Final Fantasy. Like Final Fantasy 6, love the hell out of that game.
All right. Fairly quick answer on those. That's what's up. All right, now we're working into the PlayStation. I want you to tell me how you got the PlayStation, if you remember.
Oh yeah, I definitely remember. Yeah, like I said, my mom would definitely buy like gaming consoles. She despises like gaming, but the grades are good. You know what I mean? We wasn't like badass kids or anything like that. You know what I mean? We did what we had to do.
Bari was like, it's time to pay the piper, mama. I've been good.
Yes, sir. So like, there's a certain time and year, like, you can just butter your mom up. And that's like I said, the same year I got the Super Nintendo, I got the PlayStation. So we was definitely buttering up for that PlayStation because everybody had it and I didn't have it yet. So, people was talking about these games. I'm just like, shit, yo, I need to get that. But yeah, went to Toys R Us, walked up in there. I didn't even know because I'm a twin. So it's me and my brother. We was up in there. I didn't even know we was going to get it. You know what I mean? I didn't even know we was going to get the toys, or I didn't know we was going to get the PlayStation and whatnot. But when we walked that game section, and I'm pretty sure my mom saw our eyes, yo, we was just like, yo, we need that. You know what I mean? But we wasn't going to ask. We wasn't going to say nothing because we was like, we just got a console this year, But nah, she pulled up in there. She's like, you want it? I even said, nah, you good. And I said, hell yeah, I want that shit. Hell yeah.
Right.
Got that right there. PlayStation 1. But the only game we got when she bought it was Crash Bandicoot. That was the only game we got. And we had a demo disc with it as well.
You heard that? Jay Bari just said he's been Naughty Dog from the jump.
Yeah, that was a game, like, you know what I mean? I think it was we had to pick between it was either Crash or it was either Rain Man. Because I remember seeing the Rain Man disc as well, but my brother ended up getting Rain Man later and all that. But yeah, that first day it was Crash Bandicoot all day.
Oh yeah, Crash that's where to go.
Yeah.
All right. That's what's up. So as you were progressing through PlayStation, I'm guessing like Final Fantasy VII was a big deal for you because you said you're big into like JRPGs or RPGs and stuff like that. List off a few other great games. Was what was that game called? What was Soul Reaver up there for you?
Yeah, Soul Reaver was definitely up there for me. Yeah, like you said, Final Fantasy VII, that's my favorite game of all time. But the PlayStation 1 was like one of my favorite consoles as well because Metal Gear, loved the hell out of that. Tekken series, Wild Arms, loved the hell out of that. Twisted Metal, that's when I actually was liking Twisted Metal. I was playing hardcore Twisted Metal. One of my favorite eras in fighting game was the Versus era and the Alpha era. So like my favorite Street Fighter games is the Alpha series, where Sakura and all that was introduced. And then my favorite fighting game of all time as well is on PS1, which is Marvel vs. Capcom Clash of the Superheroes. Love the hell out of that game, man. And yo, that game right there, I played that game so much because there was definitely a lot of different iterations of the PlayStation 1 I got. So we had the mini, and my brother before he went to college, he bought the little TV thing that can attach to the mini, and I used to walk around the PS1 with Marvel vs. Capcom, Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Battle 22.
Thank you. Somebody else knows that joint.
Yeah,
Let
I love
them
that
know
game.
about that motherfucker right there.
I love the hell out of that game, man. Street Fighter Alpha.
Damn, you're the first person that I've had on this podcast that knows what that game is, because I don't talk about it every damn time. But did you have the English version or the Japanese version?
So at first, I had the Japanese version because I had that. I had Legends and I had GT, Final Bout. But my friend, he used to have all the imports and he would bring it in. But then when I found out that Ultimate Battle 22 got an English version coming out, I ended up buying that myself because that time, I was, doing little side stuff to make money on the side and whatnot. But yeah, I had both versions of, like, majority of the Dragon Ball games. I had like both versions.
Man,
that ended up. Those games ended up breaking my PlayStation 1. Real talk though, I played them shit so much, and I had my Goku Super Saiyan 3 maxed out level 99. I had regular Goku level 99, Gotenks level 99, and that game right there, the grind. You had to grind crazy. To get them characters.
Yeah. You had to swap them out and everything, and you like you'd have your like fighting squad that you'd go into battle with and whatnot, and you could really power the hell up out of a few people and just run through shit.
Yep. And when you fighting against anybody, load your character in. Like, nah, I'm picking my level 99 Super Saiyan 3. You're gonna get this work. And I'm dropping I grind for that. And the CPU, the single player was hella hard, yo. When you get to the higher ranks of the characters, oh my god, that joint was difficult.
That shit was wild though, because that was like the first Dragon Ball Z game that felt like open.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where like you're flying around and shit's looking kind of crazy, and you got blasts going off in all different directions and shit like that. Like,
yo,
it was dope.
They're like, I like Ultimate Battle 22 better, but when it comes to like just like the world that you're fighting in, Legends was great. Legends was kind of Budokai before Budokai. With Dragon Ball Z Legends, and you had the whole you can play tag team if you wanted to, but nobody really did. But that game was before its time. I didn't execute it properly like how Budokai did or Tenkaichi, but it was definitely a cool game.
Yeah, so you said you had both import and the US version, right?
Yeah. I had a friend that used to. He's a Japanese dude. He used to have the imports. Like, I didn't know how he got them, but he used to always hook me up with like imports of like the Dragon Ball games. That's where I got Final Bout from. Legends, because Legends was an import. That wasn't like a US game. I don't know if they had a US version for Legends. But yeah, I was playing Legends, the Japanese version of that. But yeah, Ultimate Battle 22. I was playing the Japanese version before the English version. I remember the English version coming later with a little black little thing on the side or whatnot.
So I want to know what you did, because I had the import version as well. I want to know what you had to do to be able to play import games on your PlayStation
1. Yeah, because his stuff was like, I guess he was copying it on the CD-ROM or whatnot. You know what I mean? Like, it was a way that he was getting those things copied over. It's like a CD-ROM, and I'll just put it in. He has a memory card. I used to borrow his memory card, and I'll play the game. I don't remember the technicalities as far as how I was playing. I just remember like, I had the game. You know what I mean? I was playing the game.
Yeah, I had this, like, I want to say it was like a Game Shark thing. It was like a memory card for Game Shark that I had to throw in, and a disc that I put in, and it would tell me to like I had to put the disc in, let it load up. It'd tell me, all right, go on ahead and put your Japanese game. But the thing is when you hit the open button, I had a spring that used to sit on the top of the piece that you shut the door, and the spring went down into where it would stop the door to let you know that the door is shut. So you had to open up the top of the PlayStation console, take out the disc, and then you'd insert the Japanese disc and throw it in. And I mean, you didn't have to close. You didn't have to close. You could just sit there and watch the disc spin because of that spring being there. But that shit was wild. That shit was wild back in the day.
I remember like whatever version that he gave us, it was like off some crazy like CD-ROM kind of thing, like, you know, the disc or whatnot. But yeah, I don't remember doing the whole, you know, changing or swapping. I remember he had a memory card that he gave us. He was just hooking everybody up on them shits.
That's what's up. That's cool. Yeah, I'm just happy to have somebody that's played Ultimate Battle 22, because every time I mention it on this podcast, it just nobody knows what the hell I'm talking about. So that's what's up. Yeah, One last thing. Do you remember? This is a random question now. Do you remember the Sega Nomad?
The Nomad. Nah. What was that? Was the? It sounds familiar. I gotta. You gotta jolt my memory to Nomad.
So it's a Game Gear, but it takes Genesis. It takes Genesis cartridges.
Okay. Yeah, I remember the Game Gear. I don't think I remember the Nomad like that. I don't think I've seen one like that, but I remember
it's like a black brick.
Yeah, I never had a Game Gear, but my friend used to sneak it in at school, which is crazy because that shit was big as hell. Right. But yeah, the Nomad, the name sounds familiar though, but I never had it.
That in case anybody's watching and they don't know what the Nomad is, if you look it up, it was the Switch before the Switch, because that motherfucker could hook up to your TV, or you could take it with you on the go. The only thing about it was it was a battery. It would Thrax batteries. So
yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, the Game Gear used to kill batteries dumb fast.
Oh yeah, so imagine a whole Genesis cartridge.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Yep. Stankma in the chat said Nomad was bigger. Yes, it was. It was. That shit was wild. But anyways, moving on. So PlayStation, that was a dope generation for you. Did you fuck with the 64 at all? Did you even own one, or were you just dead set on PlayStation at that point?
I didn't get a 64 until later. Like, I didn't get a 64 until like super later. Like, I had a PS2 before I had a 64. Like, I got a Super 64 super late. But like I said, like back then, you would go to your friend's house, you play a lot of those games on the 64. But yeah, I got that super late. Okay. I wasn't really a big fan of the 64. Like, you know what I mean? I wasn't the biggest fan. Like, I was already in high school and all that was 64. So, you know what I mean? Yeah, I just got it later. I was more focused on, you know, the PS1. Loved the console. Then PS2 was coming out. Yeah, I was like focused on, I need to get that before I get anything.
Okay. So after the PlayStation, I'm assuming you went straight into PlayStation 2. Were you there day one, or is it something that you had to wait around for the folks?
PlayStation 2 was day one because like we was older. My brother, he was like in college already, so he was already, he was up on game on everything. You know what I mean? The console releases and all that. Yeah, PlayStation 2, definitely a day one. We was not missing that. With that, my brother definitely got that day one. PlayStation 2.
Okay. PlayStation 2, what was the games that you were fucking with from the jump?
Oh yeah, Metal Gear. From the jump of PlayStation 2, more Tekken Arena or Tekken Tag was definitely another one was fucking with. I used to play racing games back then. So Ridge Racer was definitely another one. My early first year. Pretty much it was like Tekken, Metal Gear Solid for sure was definitely in one of those earlier games. But yeah, I can't really think of like first year as of right now.
Fair enough.
But it's definitely one of my all-time favorite, consoles as well, PS2, because like it's now another one of my favorite games, favorite franchises in there, which is Kingdom Hearts. So when I got I remember when I got that, I slept on that game. And my friend was like, "Nah, you gotta play Kingdom Hearts," and played that Kingdom Hearts. I loved it. Another game I really loved was Black. Like Black is like one of my favorite first-person shooter games. No multiplayer in that, but at the end of the day, it was just a great story. That was like a real next-gen level game for me, like destruction and shooting enemies and enemies limping out here and all that. Love the hell out that game.
And then out of nowhere, Xbox comes in.
Xbox. I didn't get an Xbox. I didn't have a original Xbox. My friend Sherman, he definitely was an Xbox, lover. Where he had that stuff hooked up. So any Xbox experience I had was definitely.
You say it so egregiously, Xbox lover. He was an Xbox lover.
When the Xbox dropped, he was loving the Xbox. Halo, he was loving it. Every single moment he see me, he was like, "Yo, Bart, you gotta get Xbox. You gotta get Xbox." But I was loving PS2 heavy. I'm playing Manhunt. I'm playing Kingdom Hearts. Beautiful Joe, Odin Spear, another classic game that I love. You know what I mean? I was just like, there's mad games on PS2 that I was just loving. I was like, there's no way I was going to have time. And then because around PS1, I was in high school and I was transitioning to college. You know what I mean? So I was like, Xbox, I couldn't do it. But when I got to college, people in their dorms, they definitely had the Xbox hooked up there. But everybody knew me as that PlayStation guy. You know what I mean? It's definitely the PlayStation dude.
Okay, so what games did you actually enjoy from Xbox when it came out? Or after a little bit of it being out? Because, this is a new console on the scene now at that time. Don't nobody really know too much about what games are coming or, you remember back in that time, it was like, who is this? When that happened, I mean, we all know who Microsoft is, but what kind of console is this? Because I remember back in that day, I had a PlayStation 2, and I was just like, ain't no way I'm going to Xbox. I mean, eventually that changed. After I went over to a buddy's house, and he turned on that Tupac Resurrection. He turned on that no, it wasn't Resurrection. It was what was that one with still straight balling and still balling? Damn, I don't remember exactly what CD that is. But anyways, he popped that on while we were playing Conflict Desert Storm, and I was like, "Where's the stereo player?" And he's like, "No, this is coming out of my Xbox." And I mean, I was sold from that point on from there. But what kept you what games impressed you from Xbox, if any? And then B, what kept you from not getting it?
Yeah, like I said, there's many games that impressed me. The Halo series, like Halo 1 and 2, especially 2. I was more impressed with 2 than 1, but definitely had some fun times, playing with friends, with Halo, either was LAN party or just co-op sessions, helping people beat the game on that. But the one game that I was really, really impressed by was that Chronicles of Riddick game on the Xbox. Yo, I remember when I first saw that, I was legit jealous. But at the time, like I said, I was already in college or transitioning to college at then. I was broke, so I couldn't get no Xbox at the time. That's really and truly what limited me from not getting an Xbox at that time. But there was a lot of cool stuff, and everybody that I pretty much knew already had an Xbox. You know what I mean? Like I said, I was really, really busy on PlayStation playing a lot of games. But yeah, I was definitely impressed with a few games. The Halo, is it Panzer Dragoon? I thought that game was hella fun. there was a racing game on Xbox too. I don't think it's called Forza. It wasn't Forza.
Are you talking about Project Gotham?
I think it was Project.
Or are you
Gotham.
talking about Sega GT?
Nah, I think it was Project Gotham. That shit. I don't know if it was the first one or whichever one it was. I was like, oh shit. You know what I mean? This junk looked crazy. This junk looked really, really good. It was flowing good too. But nah, Xbox definitely was a game changer. I remember a lot of people was modding their Xboxes too, where they was playing like old school ass games on there. So that was something that people was always using to like, yo, you can do as much easier on the Xbox, Bari. Come on, man. Well, a lot of the stuff that people were playing, I was already playing on PlayStation as well, like the Tom Clancy's. But everybody used to like say that Tom Clancy, like, it plays better on the Xbox than the PlayStation 2 and all that. But I was already like, I'm already good here, you know what I mean, on the PlayStation. Well, I didn't get an Xbox until I ain't gonna say I'll be probably gonna ask like, whenever did you get an Xbox?
Of course, I'm gonna ask that question.
Yeah, man. I got, so it was, I'm in college and I'm playing for the basketball team. I played for Nyack College basketball team, like a Division II, college, and there was a certain moments where like when your scholarship would kick in, and all your bills is paid, all your tuition is paid. There was a little bit kickback that was coming. So the year before the PlayStation came out, I ended up getting an Xbox 360, but I got the wrong 360 because at the time I wasn't thinking about like, oh, they have a core edition and a premium edition. I was just like, cause I just wanted to get an Xbox, you know what I mean? And I got the Xbox 360 core edition. And oops. But I was loving it because I'm not the biggest like scary, game, guy, but there was Condemned. That shit was lit.
Dude, Condemned was nuts. That shit was terrifying.
Yeah, and that's when I was playing like more. That's when I was playing like more like sports games. It was like that console became like a community console. So it was like everybody's playing, the NBA Lives back then. I forgot that Kobe game that was, people was rocking. There was a lot of like basketball games I was playing, default on the basketball team or whatnot. But it didn't last that long, because it was a few of us that had a Xbox on there, but like a lot of people was playing on my Xbox, coming to my room playing it. And I had the red ring of death happen to me like 3 times where I had to send it back, get it back, send it back, and get it back. But around the third time that it happened, I was just like, yeah, I'm kind of done with it. But around that time, that was when the PlayStation it came out, but I couldn't get a PlayStation, and my boy got it. But then they had like a new bundle for the PlayStation. It was like, or the new version. It had the 80 gig PS3 with the Motor Storm. And that day, all of my kickback came back. So I had like mad money on me where I got me a PS3, 80 gig, Uncharted, Call of Duty, NBA 2K. It was just a whole list of games, Resistance, whole list of games. And I got my iPod Touch. You know what I mean? I was just balling that day. You know what I mean? And I never really looked back to the 360 after that.
So after that, you were done with, you picked it up. And then you were done with it not that long later.
Yeah, it was pretty much within that year. But yeah, it became more like a sports console. Just playing with the basketball team, playing with a crew. They would come on.
So you didn't fuck with like Gears of War or anything like that?
No. At that time, no. I didn't get into Gears of War around that time. That was like 2005 going into 2006 when I was playing on 360.
All right,
I think Gears came up. I got into Gears of War on the Xbox One. That's when I first started playing Gears of War.
Oh, so it was a hot minute until you even
hot minute. Yep.
God damn. All right, cool. Well, so the PS3 came out. You ended up, eventually getting all those games and whatnot. Was there anything that was like innovative or dope about it? Like, did you get the the old enough version? Because I'm guessing you did it. What'd you spend like 600 for it?
Yeah, it was like
So you had the
like
back compat version. You had the fat.
the big fat boy. Yeah, the 80 gig one, a 60 gig and a 40 gig or a 20 gig. That was like when it just launched. But I got it like a couple of months later when they had the 80 gig and the MotorStorm bundle with it. And that one didn't come with Spider-Man. Some it depends on what retail store you got Spider-Man with it, but that one I didn't get Spider-Man with it. I ended up getting Spider-Man later because that was the biggest thing with the PS3 was that Blu-ray player, where like you know what I mean. That was the move right there, going to Blu-ray and all that. That was big.
You remember shopping for HDMI cords back in the day? You got the gold, you got the platinum, you got all these different kinds, and them motherfuckers was expensive back then. I mean, now you can get an HDMI cord for $10.
Yep, I remember getting an HD TV for the first time. And getting the HDMI cord and the difference of the resolution, like in the main menu in the games,
staggering,
huge stark contrast. You know what I mean? I was like, oh shit, this is how we can be playing our games. Like this is hella clear. You know what I mean? That 720p or 720i, it was like hella clear. I was like, oh,
it was like the difference between a CD and a gray cassette.
Yeah, definitely for sure, man. Definitely opened my eyes to a lot of stuff. Our PS3, you know what I mean? But once I got that, I got the camera, I got that big ass Bluetooth that hurt your ear. I was getting everything with a PS3.
So you were dug in extra deep in that PS3. Yeah, that Xbox came through and made you a little salty, and then you doubled down on that PlayStation.
Yeah, because the Xbox and the PS3 was mad different. Because to get the equivalent of what the PS3 offered, you were still on Xbox. You still had to pay that much anyway, because you had to pay for the Wi-Fi adapter if you wanted to pay for the HD, whatever they call it.
That thing was a waste of time. That thing went out of business as soon as it came in. As soon as it came in, it went out the door. Yeah, I know you're talking about the HD DVD player, the high def, little white box that you buy for it.
The big argument was like, Xbox is just mad cheaper. You can get it mad cheaper, but if you wanted everything that was equivalent to the PS3, because PS3 just came with everything, Wi-Fi in there, the Blu-ray, everything was in there. You know what I mean? You still paying that like 500, almost 600 already right there, especially when you get the games and all that. But
all right, going ahead and rattle off some of your favorite games from that, and let's go on ahead and move on to the Xbox One and PS4.
Yeah, for PS3, definitely like Uncharted 2, Resistance, both Resistance Fall of Man and Resistance 2. Love the hell out of that game. Killzone 2, Killzone 3. Man, you pretty much can list the whole Uncharted. God of War 3. The Last of Us was up there. Infamous series, love the hell out of Infamous series 1 and 2. First time playing Infamous, I was blown away with that story. Love the hell out of that. Journey, a smaller game, Journey. I love the hell out of Journey. That's when I first played like Bayonetta then, but it was like a bad game. But I love the game, but it wasn't running well. You know what I mean? But back then, you were still playing. Like fuck about no frames and all that bullshit. We punching through it. You know what I mean? But I love the hell out of Bayonetta back then. A game I love too, what that finally came to PlayStation was Mass Effect 2, man. When that came, I played the hell out of that game. Mass Effect 2, Metal Gear Solid, Guns of the Patriot, Little Big Planet. The list goes on with PS3, man. PS3 was a great console. It took some time to build up there, but I think it was probably around like whenever Metal Gear came out. What was that, 2008 or 2009? Whenever that year came out, it was just like constant games back and back. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood was another game I loved, which I'm pretty sure
Assassin's Creed PS3 was the first place I ever played Assassin's Creed. I was blown away because we went shopping for the HDMI cable when we bought that game. When we went out and got that game, my roommate and I was like, bro, we gotta play this on. We had a brand new 42-inch Panasonic TV, and man, we were Well, I'm sorry. What's that?
No, you had the HD TV, but they had like the fat back.
Oh yeah, they had the fat back on there. I mean that motherfucker was. I mean we hung it on the wall, right? But that thing was so damn hard to reach into to plug in that HDMI cable. I got bruises all over my fucking hand trying to do it. Those motherfucking things didn't fuck around. But yeah, I mean, that was a hell of an experience. I remember watching the first Blu-ray on that thing and, thinking you was, the shit for having a Blu-ray player in your house and whatnot. That was cool.
Yeah. When I watched, cause I bought Iron Man Blu-ray. That was like my first, like, not the first, but that was like the Blu-ray that changed it, because it was updates that came to the Blu-ray. And I think that was the only thing the PlayStation 3 was doing, like updating the actual Blu-ray to make it look better or whatnot. And I was blown away with that. I was like, damn, this is amazing. This is much, much different than anything I watch here. Iron Man was looking lit on that 720p TV.
I was watching movies I didn't give a shit about just because it was in Blu-ray.
Yeah.
It was that dope to have that thing around. Just we just renting shit that we don't even know, just because remember when Blu-ray came out, it was hard to find that many different movies for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was limited,
very limited. But moving on, PS4, I'm guessing you were all in from the jump. Did you even fuck with the Xbox during this generation? I mean, obviously you did, because to play Gears and shit like that. But I'm guessing the PlayStation had priority.
Yeah, PS4 was a day one for me, hands down. PS4 is like amazing generation, because I met a lot of great people through the PlayStation 4 once the party chat is enabled and all that stuff through Facebook groups, and we finally able to talk to a whole bunch of people there. But yeah, PS4 was day one. Loved it from day one. Playing Killzone, Resogun. I love those movies. Knack, I know people hate on that, but I love the hell out of that series, Knack, because I think it's a really fun game. But I ended up getting an Xbox like in February. No, I ended up getting an Xbox in January. And because of Titanfall. You know what I mean? I was like, there's no way. Yeah, there's no way I was missing Titanfall, because I was like, oh, the X Call of Duty developers, there's no way I'm going to miss that game. So I ended up getting the original Xbox, and yeah, I was loving the hell out of Titanfall. You know what I mean? But I'll be honest with you, I didn't like the Xbox controller, because there's a lot of dead zones in there. You know what I mean? And eventually, when they announced the Elite controller, I couldn't get an Elite controller, but I ended up getting the Elite bundle. So the OG Xbox One that I had with the Kinect and all that, ended up getting rid of that, got the Elite bundle with the Elite controller, and that's when I would start playing Xbox a little bit more, like the Tomb Raiders, the Halos, the Gears, when they dropped that remaster or remake. I forgot what it's called, like Gears Ultimate Edition and whatnot.
Yeah, it's the Ultimate. Yeah,
but
that
Xbox,
that shit was nice though.
Yeah, Xbox One wasn't a bad console at the beginning for me. Because yeah, I definitely was liking Rise. I thought Rise was a good game. What was that other Dragon game that came out for Xbox? It was pretty cool. It was like an old school Panzer Dragoon type game that came out for it. I thought that was pretty cool. This weird little indie game I was playing too, Loco Cycle. I thought that was all right. You know what I mean? A lot of people hated on that game. I thought it was cool. Dead Rising 3, I wasn't the biggest fan of Dead Rising games, but you know what I mean, I was just playing it just to see the next genness of it. But yeah, I was definitely on Xbox playing some games on there, man. When Sunset Overdrive dropped, I was on there heavy. But yeah, PlayStation was just the priority. I was just on that heavy.
Okay, and obviously PlayStation, they flourished in that generation. And Xbox did not. They didn't do very good at all. Especially, from the middle to the end. Because as you said, the very beginning of the generation, yeah, they said their E3 was ass. But they had some decent, really good games. I'd say Rise, Titanfall are a couple of them, are a couple of my favorites, the ones that I personally owned. But like towards the end, it was just rough. And then PlayStation, I remember because I didn't have a PS4, and I was just like, "Come on, Xbox, let's do something." And then God of War came out, or not God of War, Spider-Man came out, and I was just like, "God damn it!" And then God of War came out, and I was like, "All right, I'm not even paying attention to y'all anymore.
Yeah,
Y'all doing
Xbox
too
is
much."
definitely getting lumped up.
I about bought a PlayStation, but by the time I was about to buy a PlayStation, they announced the new consoles. So what kept you from the doorstep of Xbox this generation?
Yeah, so back in like 2017, 2018, when Xbox was like play anywhere PC, that's when I first got like a gaming PC in 2017, like late 2017. So a lot of the games that was coming out for Xbox was already on PC. So I was like, you know what? I got this gaming laptop. It was pretty good at the time. I don't really have a need for Xbox at the moment because you have the Xbox app that looks just like the Xbox user interface on the console and all that stuff. So I was like, okay, I don't really need to get an Xbox or keep this Xbox here. So once I got the PC and everything, I was pretty much playing all the Xbox games on that PC, like the Oris, the Blind Forest, the Cupheads. I was pretty much playing it on my PC, and I was still getting achievements, on my account. So I was like, okay, it is what it is. So yeah, this generation going into it, I wasn't the happiest with Xbox, to be honest with you. From after what's the game with that the dude, the Iceman dude, he was in by Remedy.
Oh, are you talking about Quantum Break?
Quantum Break. Yeah, Quantum Break. After Quantum Break, I really wasn't playing Xbox like that per se. And I felt like that was like the nail in the coffin. I began when that was announced going to PC. I was just like, okay, everything's going to PC. I don't really need it. So going to this generation, Xbox still was going on that stance, and I was already having a PC, so I didn't feel a need to go on and get an Xbox Series console to play their games when I can just play it here on PC. I can just focus on getting my PlayStation, getting the Switch and all that stuff, and keep it moving from there.
All right, so here's a controversial question then. No disrespect at all, but what if PlayStation puts all of their stuff on PC just like that? What is the move then? Because at that part, I'm not saying like every single thing, because it's going to take a while for PlayStation to try to get everything going. But eventually, like let's say 2026, they're comfortable. Nixus has been pumping games out left and right. Xbox has their internet thing continuing on. PlayStation has finally got a ton of games within the service, whether it's day and date or not. I'm not going to go down that road right now. I'm just strictly saying, what if you're getting all the same games on your PS5 and it's now on PC? I know you and Persona despise it.
Yeah, I don't despise PC. I just don't like the PC community. You know what I mean? I think we'll go into that later. But sure. if PlayStation, definitely goes the PC route, there's definitely going to be some changes as far as where I play. But the only thing that will have me convert fully over to PC, if my account and everything transfer over like how Xbox transfer over to PC. You know what I mean? Because I want to.
So if you're able to get trophies on your PC.
Yeah, because PC, like I game on PC, but I don't game on PC like that. You know what I mean? It's very sporadically that I game on PC.
I'm the exact same way. I'd rather just sit in front of my TV than sit on my computer chair.
Yeah, for sure. But it's a big difference. Like right now, I'm playing Spider-Man on PC, but I'm getting Steam achievements, not PlayStation, trophies. So you know what I mean? Like if PlayStation were to go to PC and your account can go with it over to PC, then that would make a substantial change as far as like where I buy and play the games for sure.
Okay, so things could be restructuring a little bit if they dive further and further and further into PC for you. I'm wondering if there's at any point a time where you or Persona, I throw him out there as well because y'all got a podcast together. Y'all talk. Y'all talk on and off the camera. I'm sure. So So I'm wondering what the move is like, or not what the move is, but like, is there ever going to be a point where you're like, you know what, all this stuff is on PC, I'm not going to buy a PlayStation? Would that happen to you?
That would be tough. Like, I'll be honest with you, I definitely love PlayStation. Where I don't see myself not ever owning a PlayStation, because how they do things is like they have their differences and they have their features that PlayStation can do, or whatever they're going to do for the next iteration of the next PlayStation console. I'm pretty sure they'll have like an exclusive feature that it can do. But like I said, like for me to like never buy a PlayStation, they will have to have all their games going to PC day and date, and your account can just transfer all the way over to a PC where they have like a PlayStation app and you're playing through the PlayStation app and all that stuff, and it's no different than like playing through the console. Then that's when I'm going to be like, yeah, there's no real need for me to buy a PlayStation because I can play the best version of their games here on PC. You know what I mean? So yeah, they will have to definitely like change it up big time like that.
Okay, I got you. All right, well, now I'm kind of curious. PS5, what do you think about this current generation? Like, what do you think it's going to be like a couple years down the road? Because from what I noticed, PlayStation likes to kind of hold their cards kind of tight. Mm-hmm. So we know God of War is coming. We know Spider-Man 2 is coming at some point. That dope game, Stellar Blade. I'm excited for that joint. That joint looked nice. And then, she's looking nice too, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, you guys have some pretty nice games that's been announced, but does not knowing anything further than like maybe Spider-Man and Wolverine, does that make you nervous at all?
Yeah, it did. I definitely was vocal about, PlayStation letting us know the future of PS5. You know what I mean? Now that you're dipping your hands in all these different cookie jars, it feels like the PlayStation is just like an afterthought sometimes when it comes to updating the fans as far as what's coming to the console. People bought their console, they want to know what's coming to the console. So yeah, I was very adamant and I was very like vocal about PlayStation letting fans know. They should let fans know the roadmap as far as PS5, what's coming in 2023 and beyond. As far as we already know about Spider-Man, we know about Wolverine, we know about factions and stuff like that, but there's still a lot of first-party developers that's creating games that we just don't know. And that's still my sentiment today, even though we just had a state of play and they kind of quench some of that worry.
I thought the state of play was phenomenal, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I even went on Twitter and posted out. I was like, I mean, because, there's all sorts of Twitter spaces saying, state of play was trash and all this stuff. And I was just like, I don't know what y'all were watching, but I was interested.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta understand with Twitter, it's trash until it comes to their console. You know what I mean? until that specific game comes there, then they're gonna praise it. You see that with like Deathloop. You see that with like all these other games that.
And don't get it twisted. Everybody's guilty of that shit.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's just the constant war of life. You know what I mean? That's just the nature of things. But yeah, after the state of play, yeah, they definitely quench a lot of that worries with showing games that's coming to 2023 from third party. You had like 2 first party games there with Stellar Blade and Rise of the Ronin that PlayStation is like funding and publishing. But as far as like first party studios, still want to know they're not off the hook yet. You know what I mean? You had a great state of play, but you're not off the hook yet.
He said you ain't off the hook, Jimmy boy. You
Yeah,
know,
for sure.
quite yet. So I actually want to talk about that real quick because we just got news not that long ago that the previous guy in Jim Ryan's spot, Sean Layden, is now working with Tencent, which is hella. It's something, you know, right?
Yeah,
so
that's news.
So, and from what I remember from, you know, checking out your channel, you know, kind of keeping my ear to the to them Twitter streets and whatnot, you talked to Sean Layden before.
Yeah. He was a guest on What's Up PlayStation. I think it's episode 55 back in
You remember
October.
the exact episode.
Yeah, it was definitely our most popular episode for sure. But yeah, he'll to be honest with you, he will be back this Saturday for episode 100. So
oh damn, this Saturday's coming?
Yeah, he's gonna pop in, just to congratulate us on episode 100, catch up with us.
Do you hear that, chat? Do you hear that? He just said Mr. Sean Layden is making a comeback appearance on What's Up PlayStation this Saturday. Please. Absolutely. That is something you should be absolutely shameless to plug yourself in on. Man. That's what's up, man. Congratulations on that respect. But continue.
Yeah, Persona hit him up, was like, hey, do you mind coming on, What's Up PlayStation for episode 100? And he was like, sure. He definitely pop in. So we have like a meeting with him, to get him on What's Up PlayStation episode 100. But yeah, I saw the news. I was definitely shocked with it, but I think that's a big major pickup for Tencent once again.
Were you shocked like ouch, or shocked like money moves, like congratulations shocked?
No, I was shocked like, to be honest with you, I was shocked like ouch, because I was thinking about PlayStation as far as like, this is a guy that can scout talent, and he can scout talent very well. And now that he has a company like Tencent, where he's going to be an advisor for, to
bottomless pockets.
Yeah, they've been buying up, they've been acquiring, IP studios or whatnot. That's a major move right there. That's something that would get everybody to open their eyes and like, okay, we gotta do something, because a guy like Sean Layden is very connected in this industry. He has a lot of great relationships with this industry. Sean Layden, he let us know on What's Up PlayStation that the last thing he did with PlayStation was the acquisition of Insomniac. That was his acquisition. You know what I mean? So that's somebody that can spot talent, make sure that it comes under whatever he's working under. And that's a big deal for Tencent. So.
And he was a gamer.
Move. He definitely plays his games. I think he said he was like, he's reading a whole bunch of books and all that right now, but he definitely plays some of the game. He was in development too with Vib Ribbon and all that back on PS1 days. But yeah, that's a big move for Tencent, man. That's a crazy acquisition. Might ask him a question or two about it. I don't want to.
I know you itching.
Yeah, I don't want to surprise him or anything like that. We're definitely going to talk with Persona before anything, but it's definitely something that we might have to, how did that happen?
It's time to have it out. But anyways, so obviously you feel some type of way because you've talked to him before, like, I mean, online or whatnot. You actually talked to him. Now you haven't talked to Jim Ryan at all, correct?
Nah, not yet. We don't get him one day
though. How does it compare in your eyes? When you first heard that Sean Layden was done and Jim Ryan was hopping in, were you mad? Were you like how were you feeling?
No, I mean, I wasn't mad because Sean been working for PlayStation for like, I think it was like over like 25 or 30 years, and Jim Ryan was always like a staple within PlayStation. I mean, Jim Ryan also helped PlayStation recover through the PS3 to PS4 as well. So you know what I mean. So he definitely played his part, his role, that he understands, PlayStation gamers, and he understands, what it takes to be successful, for the company. But Jim is more of like a conservative type. I can definitely tell, because under Sean Layden, it was just a lot of more community driven,
a little bit more party centric.
yeah, it was a lot more community driven events, like the PlayStation Experience. I thought that was a great move that PlayStation did, having their own showcase and having their own like event for PlayStation fans to come and just congregate and talk to developers. With Jim, I don't think you would get something like that with Jim, because he's much more, that we got to cut that cost, you know what I mean, so it can go towards something different, because that stuff is an expense, you know what I mean. But I think Jim does understand what PlayStation gamers like, because we see it with his deals and his partnerships as far as who he's in tandem with the gaming industry, and they've been hitting it out of the park as far as like third party deals, second party deals. I think they've been doing really, really good. But yeah, I definitely have my worries with Jim, just as far as like, a community or just a, take feedback perspective. I think Sean is better in that area than Jim, but Jim knows business and he knows to get it done. He knows how to get it done. So I don't think PlayStation is in bad hands under Jim Ryan, as much as people, hate on Jim Ryan and say he's a liar and all that stuff. I think PlayStation is in good hands, because so far, majority of people that have a PlayStation, I think you're pretty happy with what you're playing and what you're getting for PlayStation 5. But I definitely say Sean is definitely missed when it comes to the more, community and just, talking to the community and the events where, he can pretty much just run a whole show himself and all that stuff. He's definitely missed in that aspect.
Would you call Jim Ryan a gamer?
Nah, I don't think Jim Ryan's a gamer at all.
Does that make you nervous in compared to Sean Layden? Because, I mean, not to get off subject, but it seems that, Sean Layden and then now like Phil Spencer, a lot of people really enjoy following these gentlemen, because not only do they, do some sort of like big business, but they also play the games too. Now, yeah, Jim Ryan, on the other hand, like he like even you said it, and I assumed it myself. Like he doesn't really seem like somebody like you would be in a party chat with or anything like that. He seems all suit and tie.
Yeah, he's definitely not like the gamer per se. He probably dibble and dabble in some of these games. He obviously got to play test and see if the games are good or whatnot. I think he has a good eye for what PlayStation gamers like. But yeah, he's just not a gamer. He's more of a business guy. He knows how to make PlayStation successful. But so far, I'll be honest with you, like, as much as he's not a gamer, I think he does have a good eye as far as what gamers will want and what they would like. You know what I mean? Because I think he's been doing a good job locking down some of these deals, the type of games that is going down. We're going to have to see with these games as a service, though. I'll be honest with you, that I don't think that's going to pan out too well. But I'm pretty sure there's going to be one or two hits in there for that. But yeah, we're definitely going to see, man.
All right, so here's an interesting one from the other side of the table. What do you think about Phil Spencer? Like, what do you like? Like you don't have to go into like a huge, discussion about it. I mean, if you want to, I'm here for it. But like, what do you like? What do you not like? What do you think he could improve upon? What do you think is like a killer move that he has?
Yeah, like my point of view on Phil Spencer is definitely on the negative side, just due to the Xbox One and me like buying all those Xbox Ones, and he hasn't delivered, I feel like, on the game standpoint. And I feel like still to this day, he hasn't really delivered on the game standpoint. I respect Phil Spencer a lot, but I don't think it's kind of mixed feeling, because on one side, he's doing a great job as far as securing IPs and studios for Xbox, but then on the other standpoint, Meanwhile, he's securing IPs and studios for Xbox. There's no games really coming out from those studios. You know what I mean? It's definitely a
So it's like, what are you doing? Kind of.
Yeah, there's definitely a management issue going on. I think Phil Spencer is good as far as, you know, on a personal side. You know, he knows how to tug on the heartstrings of gamers, but when it just comes to the execution of delivering, you know, games to the platform, I don't think he's really doing a great job personally. But I get why people like Phil. You know, I mean, he's definitely one of those approachable, you know, industry, you know, leaders where people can join a party chat. They can, you know, they can respond to him on Twitter and all that stuff. But I just personally feel that Phil hasn't really, you know, done anything substantial for me to say that, yo, this guy is doing a really great job for Xbox right now, other than acquiring studios and locking down IPs and stuff like that. But yeah,
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but if he came out next year, like let's say next year is a solid year, games coming out every which way, as you know, is predicted but never set in stone, right?
Yeah.
Does your opinion change at all for Xbox? Not for Phil Spencer at this point, but for Xbox. So like Starfield comes out and it's a good game. Redfall comes out and it's a good game. And I mean, obviously Nintendo's going to have some good games. PlayStation's going to have some familiar games for you that are good. Like, what happens if all of them are shooting on all, you know, firing on all cylinders? Does that change anything for you?
It wouldn't change anything for me as of right now, because like I would want those games to do great, because I think that would be a good thing for Xbox. But regardless on how amazing Starfield is, that's just not a game I'm interested in. Redfall, though, I'm in there day one for that game. So, you know, I mean, I'm hoping that game is really, really good and whatnot. Like,
it looks fun.
Yeah, end of the day, I'm a gamer. You know, I play it wherever the games are, or I Xbox where if it catches my interest. My issue with Xbox is that's the consistency of how they deliver the game. Like last year, they went the whole first half of the year, nothing. But, you know, the second half, they was delivering. And now this year, it's nothing. You know what I mean? It's just so inconsistent between it.
And that's been one of my biggest gripes is that, I mean, y'all always say it's coming, and then it feels like it's starting to roll out, and then it's like road closed all over again. Yeah. It's like, God damn it.
they've been having that issue since the end of the generation of 360. You know what I mean? You ended that whole generation, not really dropping anything. Then Xbox One, you went crazy on the launch. Then the middle of the generation, you just went, you went quiet. Then Xbox Series X, you had a decent launch. You know, 2021, it had a very good year, and then 2022 is just like, just blank. You know what I mean? So the consistency, that's the major issue for me with Xbox. Where you can have a great game, Starfield, Redfall, but okay, what else is coming? Are you still gonna be pumping out games on a consistent basis? You know?
Right. It needs to be from beginning to the end of the year. It can't be. I mean, like years on down the road, it's okay to have like a year that's not so hot. But when you're consistently having more not so hot years than you're having hot years, then it's kind of an issue. Now, I mean, I'm a huge Xbox fan. I love the platform. I love the what do you want to call it? Ecosystem, right? But man, if you would have seen me when they announced that Starfield was delayed, bro, I lost my shit. And the people defending Xbox for, the mismanagement that was, for, some of the titles taking so long to come out, was to me like I understood what a lot of people were saying, like, oh, it's, a lot of delays are happening, it's COVID and stuff like that. But I'm in the back of the, the classroom saying, yo, I'm tired of this look. I've been rooting for y'all for years now, and I'm like I understand that this is an industry-wide situation, but damn it, like PlayStation's still rolling out with stuff, and Nintendo's still rolling out with stuff, and it's just like, god damn, like what was going on? So I mean, I was pretty frustrated, but as time went on, more and more, it seems like half the games that were announced for this year ended up being delayed. So it kind of helped me move on a little bit, but it still kind of resonates a little bit to where it's just like, damn it, man, can we stop tripping over ourselves and actually make a big move? And I think, and I'm gonna have you mark my words right here, Bari. Mm-hmm. Mark my words, and I know you've heard this for years.
Next year.
But 2023 is it. 2023 is it. We are gonna come out firing. I mean, come on, man. Wolong, Liza P, Starfield, Redfall. I mean, not all of these are exclusive. I get that. Not all of them are exclusive, but the midst of some of these games coming out that I want to buy, and Game Pass helping me actually make that transition to not buy every single thing day. Because trust me, bro, my pockets is going to be hurting next year, dog. Switch, PS5, and Xbox, man, I'm gonna need a subscription service from Sony. Because I'm gonna need to be able to balance these budgets, because it's gonna be nuts. My wife ain't finna allow me to buy 4 or 5 games in 1 month, dog. It just ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, I feel you.
But I will be copping some of them. Most definitely. Stellar Blade comes out next year, right?
Yeah, 2023. Yep.
Yep, and it's that game by Team Ninja that doesn't come out until 2024.
They said 2024 for that. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. All right, well, let's hit the little bit of history that you get, or the history that you guys have with content creation, and then hit a couple questions and get up out of here. Let's just keep it moving for those that are in the chat. Matter of fact, y'all in the chat, I appreciate y'all been keeping that chat moving. Fantastic. I appreciate y'all for being here. Make sure you hit that like button if you enjoy this type of content where we just kind of sit back, talk about history, and talk about thoughts of what's been going on in the gaming industry within the last few years. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'd appreciate that a lot. But what actually drew you into content creation in the first place? Because as you had said earlier, you were really big into gaming. You started with the NES, moved all the way from there to having PS3 and all that stuff. But like, what was it during that part that you were? Was it anywhere between there that you found your want to be like either on camera or on the mic or something like that? Did you grow up always wanting to do that shit, or did you find your niche like after like college and shit like that?
Yeah, so after college is definitely, I was always into gaming, but after college and when I was introduced to like the gaming community, pretty much with Next Gen 720, Zaire, that's when I was like, oh, there's actually a gaming community and people was actually talking about games and going back and forth. And he was an Xbox guy, you know what I mean? And I used to be in this comment section, talking about PlayStation, like, nah, man, Xbox ain't got this, because this one, the Xbox One was coming out and all that stuff, and PlayStation 4, and everybody speculating back then, or everybody's talking about the secret sauce and the double stack GPUs for the Xbox One and all that. And I was like, nah, man, PS4 about to kill it. He's about to kill it. And then he invited me to his Facebook group. It was called Next Gen Bang. It's like Next Gen Bang Bang Gamer or something like that. I forgot the name of it. And that's when we used to go back and forth, having those type of lunchroom barbershop talks in the Facebook group and having like topics. And he will invite me on the show sometime, but I was more known for this, like, somebody that's in the comment section talking. But at that time I was getting more known within YouTube and seeing other YouTubers creating content talking about gaming and this stuff, I was just like, yeah, I talk about this all the time. I can do something like that. I can do a podcast. I can talk about topics. And but it was like a lot of Xbox channels at that time. They were the ones that was distributing like PlayStation news. They were talking about PlayStation news all the time, and it was like, pretty much turning it in their angle as far as making the light on PlayStation just look bad, like PlayStation can't get nothing right or PlayStation does bad. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna start my own channel, and I'm gonna talk about PlayStation, where I'm gonna deliver PlayStation news and how PlayStation should be delivered. Not saying that
I'm getting excited.
Yeah, not saying I'm gonna just like I'm not lying to people or misconstruing the information. I'm just giving the actual factual information. I feel like a lot of people are giving the factual information. So me coming in, I was just talking about a lot of the community aspects in gaming, knocking out a lot of hypocrisies and talking about PlayStation and the games that was coming to PlayStation and all that stuff when I started my channel. But I had a different flow than a lot of people on YouTube, where a lot of people, they were very straightforward and just talk about certain things if they like Xbox or PlayStation, where I kind of wanted to mix it up and have fun with it. You know what I mean? So I used to do like a whole bunch of skits. I used to create a whole bunch of characters and all that stuff just to mix it up and have fun delivering the news, not just the stale, oh, this is what PlayStation here is talking about. So my intro was kind of up tempo. The way how I produce my content was always up tempo, regardless of how bad the news was. And yeah, that's really how I started my channel. But Xbox guys was definitely the ones that put me on, invited me into their podcast, because I was just like that opposite guy. People wanted to hear that opposite. Like,
that's perfect, right? That's a perfect way to walk into somewhere like you're doing a similar thing, but you're talking from the other side. Everybody wants to hear what the other side sounds like.
Yeah, I used to go on those, those Skype calls or those Google Hangouts, and it would be like 8 Xbox guys, 12 Xbox guys, and I'm the only PlayStation dude talking. And it was like, no, what is it? It used to go in back then, man. It used to go crazy, but it was.
What's one of the wildest moments you remember? Like one of the wildest moments where you're just like, man, that's some bullshit. You lying.
Yeah, I remember when, like I said, when people was talking about Xbox is going to be better than PlayStation 4, Xbox One, they was talking about how the Xbox is going to have 2 GPUs and the secret sauce and all that stuff. And I was just like, man, that sounds a little bogus. And I used to shut that down all the goddamn time. And it was crazy because the console didn't come out yet. So everybody was speculating, but the speculations was just asinine. It was just like beyond levels of even PC gaming, for Xbox. But nah, man, it was definitely a lot of bogus stuff. But that was definitely one of the most bogus ones I heard of. Like a console going to have 2 GPUs, stacked GPUs, and it's going to have the secret sauce that it didn't unlock yet. It was wild. It was wild, man.
So I'm assuming you started out podcasting kind of warring, like console warring.
Not like I was a guest on a lot of those console warring podcasters. You know what I mean? But
okay. The
same year I started YouTube, also created a podcast with my PlayStation crew, PlayStation friends. That was the fam. We was called the Council, and we had something called the Council Podcast. Where I was hosting my channel, set up the shows. That's pretty much. It was pretty much a PlayStation centric podcast with PlayStation gamers that I was talking to and vibing with all the time. So you know what I mean. So that wasn't per se like a console war thing, even though we had our console war back and forth, because the people that used to come into the chat sometimes they knew us from like the Facebook groups, and they would say they would say their things in the chat, and we'll rebuttal and all that stuff. But yeah, a lot of people from the PlayStation community was definitely digging the show because there wasn't like a podcast like that, and everybody had their own like kind of personalities on there. And you know what I mean, like hosting the show, you had to keep that tempo up to entertain people. You know what I mean? So that's one thing I already knew how to do, and one thing I was really good at. Where, yeah, if the energy is low on this part, I'll pick it up for the show and just have everybody flowing. Where we was getting good views back then. And that time my channel was like 200 subscribers, but we'll be getting like 1,000 views and stuff like that because people was enjoying it. And it was a long podcast. There's times we do like 3 hours. You know what I mean? Keeping that energy, keeping everybody talking on topic, all the topics that we got to go through. And people was definitely enjoying it back then.
All right, well, now I got to ask the question. I'm sure some people already know this, but I got to ask it for my sake. I'm looking at you when I ask this question, Persona. How did you meet Game Persona, and what made you guys collab?
Oh yeah, like Persona. I met Persona from Facebook group, where the council members, was Court, Michi, Mr. Official, they brought Persona within the council, group chat that we was a part, like the clique. And right from there, Persona, he was this man cool, you know what I mean? Where he loved PlayStation as well, and we was vibing, we was playing games all the goddamn time, in party chats for like hours upon hours. So that friendship kind of built there, with Persona. But throughout the years of this knowing Persona, like each year we got cooler and cooler because I looked. So
this was this was no right away thing. This developed over some time.
Yeah, this developed for years, but I always looked at Persona as like that little brother kind of dude, because when Persona came in, he came in hot. He was definitely he was a hothead. You know what I mean? And there's many times I always tell Persona, like, yo, there's many ways that you can say certain things and do certain things. You can't just go to 100 all the goddamn time. But when we finally met up, so it was like years and years, but we finally met up at PlayStation Experience. That kind of changed a lot of things as far as we're just cool chatting on the internet or in party chat, but now you actually met that person, you actually can bond with that person, and from there it was like a really good bond. From there we met up in other events and in other situations and all that stuff, but always kept in contact. So your Persona was always like my dude. That's always my little bro, you know what I mean? So he was a part of the council podcast as well, but the council podcast ended up stopping due to people's personal lives, people doing stuff. But I always like doing podcasts. I always like talking. So there's things I was doing on my own channel where I used to have the Bari show focusing on PlayStation, or that evolved into Speak from the Heart. And Speak from the Heart evolved, or kind of our podcast kind of separated from that, called We Gonna Talk. But I wasn't doing it as consistent as something like the council podcast, but I always loved the flow and always loved what the council podcast was doing. But me and Persona, we was always talking about, we should do a PlayStation podcast. We should do our own PlayStation podcast. You know what I mean? Because like I said, other people from the council, they were busy, personal life and things just happened. But me and Persona was always talking like, we should just definitely do a podcast for PlayStation, because majority of the podcasts that are out, it's always like console war, back and forth stuff going on with it, which is nothing wrong with it. I enjoy those shows, but we wanted something for PlayStation where people can be like, all right, this is where we can come to and get PlayStation news. This is where we can come to and just sit down and listen to what PlayStation has to offer, or what PlayStation is doing, throughout the week or throughout the month or whatnot. So we was definitely planning that for like months upon months before we actually executed it for What's Up PlayStation. Then in 2020, we finally announced that we're doing What's Up PlayStation podcast. Because What's Up PlayStation podcast, to be honest with you, that name, it comes from the intro. You know what I mean? Like I've been doing the same intro for like 2014. Like, what's up YouTube? What's up PlayStation Nation? And that name came from a website that we also did as a council called What's Up PlayStation. But it always just stuck with everyone. You know what I mean? As far as the intro, like, oh, what's up PlayStation? It just flowed well. So yeah, what's up PlayStation podcast? Like, we want to let you guys know what's up. And yeah, Persona agreed to the name. It was like, yeah, you definitely should rock with it. It's cool. So let's go with it. And then from there, just everything flowed from there.
Yeah, easy to remember, right?
Yeah, definitely. Whoops, it has an abbreviation. It was cool. Kind of like Martin, what's up? But
what's up? No, I mean, I can't get that high pitch. That dude's wild.
That's right. Yep.
Anyways, all right. Well, do you guys have like a goal in mind with your content creation? Is there like a point that you guys want to reach, or like a achievement that you're trying to get, or I guess in your case, trophy?
Yeah, I mean more so for Whoops. There's definitely goals that we're trying to reach as far as just like industry level, getting more industry level guests on the show to rock out, just like be comfortable to come to the show and just talk to us about what's going on in PlayStation and whatnot. Definitely getting more people community aspects. We definitely want to grow What's Up PlayStation for sure. We're going to be talking about that more so on episode 100, where we're going to talk about future aspects and goals and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely one of the major goals is to get more industry level people that more so like developers or publishers or whatnot, to talk to the PlayStation Nation pretty much. You know what I mean? So, but there's a lot of goals and ambitions. And one of the major ones that I'm sure nobody's really surprised about this one is that we definitely want to change our layout where we're gonna finally get on cam, but we're gonna eventually get there.
Oh, you're gonna start doing on cam, huh?
Yep. That's definitely one of those things that we've been talking about for a long time, but we just never really did it yet. But that's gonna soon come.
Gotcha. Now, here's kind of a serious, I guess it's kind of a serious question. I'm wondering, like, between Twitter and your YouTube channels, plural, is there any difference in the way that you interact with, like the community or whatnot? Because I had this same question with Strictly a while back when I had him on the show. I was like, do you ever worry or like think about, like, because you say that you have fun doing the console warring sometimes and like all that stuff. Do you ever worry that maybe someone that you ask is going to turn you down due to your passion for the console that you rock with, or some of the things that you may have said towards other platforms or individuals about gaming? Because as you were saying earlier, and I've seen it firsthand sometimes on Twitter, and I get a good laugh out of it, but I wonder how it's going to affect down the line with like arguing with certain people on Twitter, and some certain words come out and it's like, woo, yikes.
Oh yeah, for sure. I get you. Like, really and truly, my Twitter activities has kind of calmed down. Really, it might not look like it, but in the past I was much more aggressive, much more abrasive on Twitter. But I definitely has like calmed down as far as way how I talk to people or approach people, because I know Twitter is more on a sensitive side of anything. And yeah, there's the things that I do on Twitter definitely has affected people showing up on shows or coming on to Whoops for sure, because there's no secret. You can't hold a secret on Twitter. People's going to find out. People's going to show you stuff. There's many times where people was trying
Receipts.
Yeah, they was definitely trying to hamper, like, oh, don't go on this show because this is what this person said 8 years ago. You know what I mean, and stuff like that. But even though I never went personal with anybody, like I always kept it gaming. But people would use, oh, you stupid, or you a dumb motherfucker, or stuff like that. People would take that like, oh, look how he's talking to this person. Don't go on the show. So yeah, it definitely can affect, and it definitely did affect. That's why I've kind of
so it has affected you before.
Yeah, for sure, it has definitely. But at the end of the day, majority of the people that we wanted or I wanted to have on my channel, like if I really wanted to do like interviews on my channel, like my own personal channel, I could definitely do it. I can have multiple interviews set up where people are like, oh yeah, sure, I come on through. But I kind of don't do it because I know my channel is more so of like the non-politically correct type channel where I can just go off and have my rants and stuff like that. So I kind of want to save that stuff for like What's Up PlayStation, where that's a little bit more kind of professional, quote unquote, type podcast and channel. But yeah, it has definitely affected because we live in a world that people are a little bit more sensitive. And some people just don't want to see you succeed as well. So regardless, somebody personally told me on Twitter that the Sean Layden interview, they could have easily stopped that and tell Sean Layden this and this and this. And I told the person that you couldn't.
Wow, that's like disrespectful.
Yeah. Somebody had the audacity to try to say that. But the way how I communicate to people on Twitter is much different than YouTube. But I feel like Twitter is a great place to get information, but it's not really a place where you can have serious conversations on.
No,
I think YouTube, you can have a little bit more serious conversations. That's why the content that I do on YouTube is much different on Twitter. Outside of like a space, space, I can probably have some type of serious conversation, but yeah, it's definitely a different dynamic over there on Twitter than on YouTube for sure.
Okay, that answered my question. Thank you, sir. All right. What do you think is the biggest misconception about the content that you produce?
Yeah, a lot of people always default to he's just a PlayStation fanboy with a lot of things that I say. But really and truly, a lot of things that I say on YouTube, it eventually comes to light. Or, I'm one of those diamonds in the rough type of channels, you know what I mean? Where I will say something and people will disagree, or people will say this and this and that, but eventually they will say the same thing that I'm saying, you know what I mean? But the biggest misconception is just I'm a fanboy. Don't listen to this person, I'm a fanboy. But I'm probably one of the most critical people of PlayStation, you know what I mean? Where if you really look at my channel, or you look at the things that I'm saying on Twitter, a lot of times I'm being very critical, where I'm giving my opinions, my feedback, where I'm like, I don't like this, change this. Don't like this, change this. But regardless, everybody just sees me as like a PlayStation fanboy, or they try to undermine your opinion, like, oh, your opinion doesn't matter because you're a fanboy. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, they're a fanboy for whatever platform they do. It's the weirdest thing in the world.
Gotcha. All right. So that pretty much sums up the history part. I'm going to hit you with some quick questions real quick. I mean, they should be quick, but it really just depends on your answer. Sure. So that was fantastic. Thank you everybody for sticking around and listening to his history with gaming and his thoughts and whatnot with the current things going on within gaming. But as of now, I'm kind of curious. Similar question to the last one, but this has to do with gaming. So what do you think the most the biggest misconception or most overlooked thing in gaming is right now?
I think the biggest or overlooked or misconception in gaming is that people equate price of games to like the length, you know what I mean, rather than the experience. I also feel that a lot of people put opinions over experience, where I feel like in gaming, your experience should outweigh your opinions. You know what I mean? But in today's society and gaming is just more so how you feel about a game rather than what's your experience in the game. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people talk about video games that they're not even playing, but due to the fact that it's a popular topic or a popular game, that is more important than actually playing it.
So define playing a game, because I've heard you and Persona say, I mean, like you guys would look up, or you guys have had other people that looked up like how much somebody's played a game or whatnot. How many hours or achievements or trophies does it take for you to look at somebody and say, yeah, you gave it a shot?
I mean, it depends. It depends on the game. I just feel like.
So right now, let me say Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm playing it right now. I'm about 3 hours in. Mm-hmm. Where would you like if I hopped on the bandwagon and started bashing on it? Mm-hmm. Would you say, "Whoa, you haven't played this game"? Or would you say, well, you gave it a shot, it just ain't your thing?
Yeah, I would have two different answers. I would be like, okay, your first impressions of the game, being 3 hours in, maybe not be the strongest, but I'll say stick with it. And if you want to get a full entire impression or a full definitive a full definitive reason to say this game is trash or it's not good, yeah, complete the game. I just think that's something that a gamer would want to do. I'm not saying that you have to stick with games all the way that you dislike. But
so you more or less want to hear reasons behind it. You want to hear specifics on why a game isn't for you, other than just the broad brush of trash.
I think a lot of people in the gaming community, they don't have a lot of substance behind the things that they're saying because they don't have the experience. Where people just say, "Oh, game is trash. This game bad," but they can't go in depth because they haven't played the game or they haven't played the game enough. You know what I mean? I think I love this fact that somebody can sit down and go in depth on why they don't like a game or why they don't like a certain mechanic. Because that shows me that you're playing a game, and that's just part of what a gamer does. You know what I mean? If you love this hobby, you love what you're doing, you will want to, and you love to talk about it, you want to have like actual substance behind what you're saying, but you don't really see that nowadays. You know what I mean? And that's something I've always been tackling or talking about, where I'll be like, people lack the substance because they're not really that experienced in the game. You know what I mean? Or they're not really playing the game to go in depth with the game. Like a lot of the games that I talk about, I can go in depth with the game and give you reasons why I like it, give you reasons why I don't like it, break down mechanics. I'm not saying that you have to break down mechanics or whatnot, but you can just tell when somebody has like the actual experience with a game. And
so when a person tells you that a game is just trash and they have no real reason behind it, you're just sitting there like,
you are fake news.
You just ain't hearing it.
Yeah, like I will always listen to somebody's opinion, but whether I take your opinion seriously or respect it, that depends on like how much did you play the game, or do you really give this game a chance? Like, I don't mind somebody giving their impressions. That's another issue within the gaming community, is that somebody will put like 3 hours in the game and want to give a review. No, that's not a review. That's an impression. You know what I mean? You haven't played the entirety of the game, where people want to become, gaming journalists or gaming reviewers, but they want to do it in the less of the time that it takes to actually do the job. You know what I mean?
But Bari said that he doesn't fuck with broad brushes. He likes that detail.
Yeah. You can't give a book report on the first chapter. You know what I mean? It's not a book report. It's your impressions, or the summary of the first chapter.
Yeah, an assumption, an opinion, or something like that. Got it.
Yeah.
All right.
Old school in my mindset with that stuff. I know. Like this day and age is very, very different, but I stick to my guns with some of that stuff.
Well, and I get that, and I feel like maybe some people might look at this and say, "Man, you're asking them a question that seems pretty simple. It's not that simple for everybody. It's not. There are going to be people that possibly watch this and have everything that you stand for fucked up.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason I have people like you on the podcast and stuff like that. Just to bring reality behind the scenes of, what the assumption is, everybody looks at you and gets that first chapter, like you just got done saying. Where's the rest of the book? Though? All right. So moving forward, I want you to tell me the best 3 games that you played in the last year and the one game that's the best out of all of them.
In the last year, so that's from September.
I'm so happy Ragnarok hasn't came out yet, so you could answer this question.
Yeah. So my favorite so far in the last year is definitely Horizon Forbidden West. I think that game, gameplay wise, story wise, just the immersion of that's trapping you into that world and how the game evolved from Zero Dawn to Forbidden West has been it's just been an amazing experience. And what the Guerrilla have done, I love every aspect of it, evolving the gameplay, creating these little microscopic worlds or these microscopic communities that have their own flow and have their own society. It's just amazing game that I think a lot of people are sleeping on. I don't know if this came out last year around this time, but I'm still going to name it Tales of Arise.
Tales of Arise, yeah.
I love that game to death. I'm a big fan of the Tales series, and I feel like this is like one of the better or the best Tales game I've played. And I'll list a small game. I know a lot of people like the big ones. Sifu, amazing game, man. I go back to this day to that game. Just play it. Love the story, love the aspect, love the combat. Do something new every single time I play it. The difficulty mode that they added on that game changes the whole dynamic of it, where you have to get better and you have to read the enemies a little bit better and all that stuff. Amazing game. So yeah, I'll list those 3. I can keep going, but I can list those 3 games right there.
All right, how about you list one honorable mention?
One honorable mention is a fighting game. DNF Duel.
Okay.
Love the hell out of that game. It is a very old school type game where everyone in that game is cheap. The balance in that game is pretty good. Where you just probably have 2 characters that's really just OP, but it is overall a very fun game. Also a frustrating game, but I love the hell out of that game, man. So yeah, DNF Duel is definitely like a runner up.
Okay, and then a game that you went out and bought that you thought that was going to be absolutely fire turned out to be a dud. What's that one?
That is a good question right there. So let me,
because we've all done it. We've all went to that store, purchased a game, and said, "This right here is that game." You pop it in, and you're just like, "Man, what's going on?"
Yo, you know what? I'm pretty. A lot of people's not going to like this answer, but I was super excited for this game. But when I actually played it, I wasn't really vibing it because it does mechanics that I don't like in a FPS, and that's Deathloop, man. Deathloop was one of those. Yeah, yo, like Deathloop, I was super hyped for Deathloop. PlayStation was showcasing that thing all day. I was like, yeah, this game's gonna show
it didn't stop.
Sense, everything. But yo, they have the whole head bobbing. You turn it down all the way, it's still head bobbing. Like, I hate that head bobbing thing. The gun mechanics wasn't as intuitive, in my opinion. The powers and abilities was cool. The story was cool. The dialogue was cool, but the actual feel of like moving around and shooting, I was just like, I'm not really feeling this, man. And I couldn't complete it. I stopped playing it. I might get back in it because I see saying that you can actually turn off the head bob all the way. So we'll definitely see when it comes to that. But yeah, Deathloop was probably that game where I was just like hella excited on the top 10 anticipated, top 5 anticipated list, and then it came out, I was like, ooh, because the reviews is also great. And I mean, I was ready to go. I was like, Deathloop downloaded. I was putting in the Xbox fans. I was like, yeah, we played Deathloop. You gotta wait. Let's go. I'm in there. And then when I played, I was like, wait, I'm not really digging this joint like that. I actually dig Ghostwire Tokyo more than.
I was gonna ask you that next. How you liking that game? I gotta ask because I guess I can buy the game on my PS5, but I just figure I'll wait for it to come to Game Pass because I'm not dying to play that game, but I'd like to try it. That's where I'm at on it.
Yeah, I think that Ghostwire Tokyo is actually the better game than Deathloop.
It looks more fun.
Yeah, the first person mechanics is better. You don't have that head bobbing, what they doing over there. The powers and abilities actually cool. I mean, it gets a little repetitive. It can get a little stale, but once that staleness comes to you, you know what I mean? They automatically hit you with like a wave of enemies that mix you up just to keep you engaged. And the exploration is actually fun in the game.
Okay. Did you fuck with Gran Turismo at all? Or are you not a driver?
I mess with Gran Turismo. I have Gran Turismo. I'm not really like a racing connoisseur anymore like that. But yeah, like Gran Turismo is Gran Turismo. I enjoy Gran Turismo for what it is. But I'm just not like into it per se. And that goes for all racing games. You know, I used to be heavy in like the arcade one, like Midnight. What's the game called? Midnight Club. Yeah, Midnight Club. Yeah,
like Dub Edition and shit.
Dub Edition, the PSP edition. Midnight Club 2 is actually my favorite one. But yeah, I used to play those like arcade games heavy. But now it's just like a racing game I just can't get into anymore like that. I'll play them off and on, but like long sessions I can't do.
Gotcha. All right. Your favorite game studio, what is it and what game best represents it? Is this going to be quick and simple or is this going to be something else? Let me know.
Yeah, definitely.
And y'all in the chat, let me know too. What's the best dev and what game best represents it? I want to know what y'all got to say too.
Yeah, I will keep it PlayStation here because really and truly PlayStation and Square Enix, like they are publishers, but they also develop games. Those are like my favorite developers, but I keep it PlayStation for this one. And I'm giving it to Insomniac. Insomniac or Sucker Punch, but I go Insomniac.
I thought you were gonna say Naughty Dog, and you hopped out of that lane real quick.
Nah, I actually like Insomniac and Sucker Punch more than Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog, I love their games and whatnot, but when it comes to like overall fun and what I like as a gamer, those two studios definitely hit it all on the nose. From
Naughty Dog tells like the best story.
Yeah, I mean the gameplay is good as well, but you know I like those fast action. Naughty Dog is a more realistic type of gameplay stuff. But Insomniac with what they did with Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and Ratchet and Clank, I think is like some of the best stuff that gaming has to offer. And yeah, in my opinion, right now, currently, Insomniac, they don't miss when it comes to just understanding what gamers like for the fun. The story is amazing, and just overall gameplay mechanics is just sound and funny. And when you play those type of games, you're not really experiencing a whole bunch of bugs or nothing like that. You're just having a nice streamlined experience when you play those games.
Gotcha.
And I want to say Sucker Punch as well, because Infamous, I love that series. And then from them going from Infamous to something like Ghost of Tsushima and having a multiplayer component of Ghost of Tsushima that was amazing. Yeah, Sucker Punch for me is up there. Like we had a crazy debate on WUPS one time. Lord Cognito was on that. He was a guest on the show that time, where we was talking about the best PlayStation studios. And people was disagreeing. It was like, nah, it's Naughty Dog, it's Naughty Dog. I'm telling people back then, Insomniac. I'm pretty sure if I was to ask people now the best studio, I'm pretty sure they'd probably say Insomniac is up there.
Yeah,
or something like that.
I've seen multiple times people saying Insomniac now, as of recently, is like the best and like the most like trustworthy studio that's out right now to like say they're coming out with a game and actually come out with it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's up. Let's see. We got about 3 more questions, and then we're gonna wrap this up. But we can't talk about God of War right now with this question. Okay, what game are you most excited for upcoming? Like, let's go to 2023 and beyond. What game are you most excited for to come out?
2023, definitely Spider-Man 2. Favorite superhero all time. I know a lot of people say that, you know, as a cliche answer, but like, if you really get to know me, you will know, like, oh yeah, this guy is a Spider-Man like fanboy. So I love what Insomniac did with Spider-Man, creating an original story, depicting the character in such a, you know, a wonderful way that kept it tried and true to who Peter Parker is and Spider-Man. Yeah, I'm definitely super excited for part 2 because I have my theories as far as like villains that's going to show up outside of like Venom and you know the typical ones. But yeah, I'm super excited for Spider-Man 2. I'm super excited for that Stellar Blade as well, man. I'm a big fan of those action, you know, hack and slash type games. Like Devil May Cry is like one of my favorite series. And I love games like that. Give me an invincible dash and counter and all that stuff, and I'm hooked. You know what I mean? But in the fighting game realm, Street Fighter 6 is definitely up there for me, and Project L as far as like most anticipated like fighting game for 2023. I can't wait for that. But yo, I can name you a most anticipated game without even listing God of War for 2022.
Oh, okay. What you got?
Valkyrie Elysium. That is coming out this month on the 29th. And Valkyrie is like one of my favorite. Valkyrie Profile is like one of my favorite PS1 games, RPG games. And now they turning that series into like an action game, but keeping all the core mechanics of like a Valkyrie game. And yeah, the demo's out. I loved it. Played the hell out of demo. Played it longer than I should be playing it. But yeah, the combat is great. Story is going to be great. Super intrigued to see like who is this Valkyrie, because I have my theories as far as who this Valkyrie is, because each Valkyrie is different in each game. But yeah, I'm super excited for that. This is another like Norse mythology game, but it's just a different depiction on Norse mythology. So yeah, super excited for this one to come.
Okay, that's what's up. Wow, I mean, I went on ahead to 2023 because I didn't think you'd have anything other than God of War to say, but you had something.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He was rocking with something.
God of War is up there, but yeah, Valkyrie Elysium was like my second most anticipated game to come out this year. The second half of the year.
Do you think this God of War is going to outdo the 2018?
Oh yeah, for sure. I already seen the combat stuff, and I was like, yeah. This game about to be epic right here, man. Just the combat, the traversal, the more moves that he's given, Kratos is given, the story, I think is going to hit. Like, I'm a big Norse mythology fan. That's one of the reasons why I love Final Fantasy VII so much, because it divulges in like Norse mythology. But I'm also like a big Thor fan. Like, I love Thor from the Marvel comics, right? Second favorite superhero. But through Marvel comics, that's how I learned about like Thor and like Norse mythology.
Yeah, because they're two different things.
Yeah, and the way how Sony Santa Monica is depicted, because everybody had Norse mythology like in a different depiction, like how they view these characters and all that stuff. But the way how they have him is very interesting. Like, they give him more like a villain perspective, just due to like Kratos and whatnot. But I'm still a big fan of it because off like Marvel and that, you know what I mean? It just already like cemented in me. Like, you know, it's just, I love the character Thor, and I want to see what he's going to be doing. And hopefully in God of War, we get that Mjolnir and see what we're going to do with that hammer. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
super excited for that.
All right. So, but do you think that it like score wise? I mean, obviously, like, in my opinion, what is it? Horizon Forbidden West outdid the first Horizon. In my opinion, it did. But the score was just a hair less than the previous.
Yep.
Correct? So do you think do you think this the same thing is going to happen with God of War, where it's like the shock and awe effect is it's still there, but it didn't hit like 2018 did? Or do you think that it's going to be like, well, now we have this and more, and this score is going to be better than the last one because of that? Because it's hard for part 2s or 3s or sequels in general of a game to outdo the original. I mean, you look at Devil May Cry 1, that game got a massive score. You look at Devil May Cry 2, it was just awful, but like a lot of the mechanics were very similar, if not, I don't know. I personally thought mechanics in 2 was a little bit better, even though it was broken for Devil May Cry, although the story was just fucking trash. And Devil May Cry 2.
They increased the combat potential, but they changed Dante, the character, into a little bit more edgelord type character, and people, that was not Dante, so people were jamming with that. I was jamming with it for sure. I did like the combat too, but I do feel that, you know, we've seen a lot of these reviews that come out when it comes to PlayStation games. Like, we hear the classic tagline, "Oh, this game is better in every single way," but the score doesn't, you know, showcase that. And I mean, so right. I think God of War is definitely going to have the same, you know, thing happen to it, as far as like, oh yeah, this game is better in every way: combat, story, you know, performance, everything. Like, it's going to be like, oh, but it's going to
92.
Be 92 or 88.
Don't let it be 88 again.
I mean, that's the magic number.
I mean, not that 88's bad or anything, but God of War, I mean, God of War, you would almost expect after seeing that for it to at least, at the bare minimum, be a 90.
Yeah, but we'll see. I mean, regardless of the score, I'm in there.
Oh, it's going to be fire either way. It doesn't matter. Fuck. I mean, at the end of the day, fuck a Metacritic score, right? I mean, it doesn't really,
for sure.
It doesn't keep me from buying a game.
Yeah, Metacritic scores is all used for, you know the jabs. You know what I mean? But really and truly, that shouldn't affect anyone's excitement or, you know, interest in the game. I get some people use it, but for me, like, you know, or I feel like any type of long time gamer, really, it shouldn't be dependent on no Metacritic score. If you're interested in it, you're gonna get it regardless, or get it whenever you get it, and that's it. But
yeah, one of my favorite games of all time has like a 1.6 from IGN, and that's a Chef's Love Shack. That shit was hilarious.
Oh man.
Yeah, going way back on that one. But all right. Last two questions right here. Or actually, this is a fun one that I think you'll want to answer before I hit the last two. The last two questions, by the way, are just one question. It's just kind of a jam-packed question. But but before we get to that, I want to know what 2 games you'd go back and revive that are dead IPs now.
Dead IPs. Well, one of them is actually coming back. Wild Arms is coming back with Arm Fantasia, but I ain't gonna use that for answer.
Okay.
Definitely a game I will bring back is the Legends Dragoon series, or that game itself, and make it into a series. I will remake that thing in a similar fashion of like Final Fantasy VII Remake, and then go from there. I feel like those characters you can expand upon. And I just think the overall core mechanics is very unique in an RPG, and I think RPGs with those type of mechanics will strive in this day and age now. So yeah, I definitely bring that back. The next one, I would definitely bring back dead IP. Well, this one is, I don't know if it's dead, but we haven't seen it in a long ass time. and that's the Resistance series, man. Because I feel like PlayStation needs that first-person shooter, but doesn't need a first-person shooter that's serious and like realistic. Give us like an arcadey one. So we haven't had a Resistance in a whole generation. This is like going on a generation in pretty much almost 2 generations. If this PS3 was the last one, but I feel like that's a series that would strive again if that was to come out, especially having it how Resistance 2 was with the 32v32 type lobbies, the big lobbies and the big maps, arcade style, because we don't really see like an arcade style type game like that in those big lobbies. It's more like Battlefield and Call of Duty. It's more serious type stuff, or if it's a battle royale type game, you know what I mean? But I feel like a fun game with like quirky guns and stuff like that can definitely strive in today's first person shooter. So I would definitely revive that series and bring that back.
Okay. Wow. All right. So I mean that would be dope. And do you and I guess I'm gonna ask one little side question before I hit that last one. But do you think that PlayStation is gonna dive back into those old IPs like SOCOM, Resistance, Killzone, Mag? Do you think they're gonna come back to any of those at all? Or because they did say, earlier in this generation that they're kind of double downing on the IPs that they already have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think.
Okay, continue. You got it.
I think a game like Mag would definitely do good as well. That was a beyond its time when it first came out. Now that we have better like online infrastructure and stuff like that, that game would do really, really well now. But I think Killzone, even though Guerrilla is having huge success with Horizon series, Killzone was always a very successful series for Guerrilla. So I don't think that series is going to go nowhere. I just think they're focusing on Horizon right now. Interesting one, man. I remember Mag, it wasn't the best online experience, but to see that game in like today's day and age, I think that would be dope as hell, man. Really and truly, that was a unique type game. It was like 100 and something players against each other. That shit was wild.
All right. So then, here are the compound question that we're gonna pretty much have as the last question. I want to know what frustrates Jay Bari with gaming, and then I also want to know after that what would be a dream come true.
What frustrates me just in gaming in general?
Yeah, so keep it gaming.
Yeah, like what frustrates me in gaming, I lean it towards like the developer side, is the catering to newer players and not catering to the longtime fans of like a series. Like I feel like a lot of these games.
You talking about Call of Duty right now?
Gotcha, bitch. Yeah. Call of Duty is definitely one of them, where they're catering to a lot of the newer players, but the longtime fans is just like, all right, we just got to stick it out and suck it up. You know what I mean? Like we just got to hold that L, and I feel like it's not good for the game or the franchise, because at the end of the day, a newer player, they're not going to stick to that game. They're not going to be playing that game 3 months down the line. They're not going to be playing that game a year down the line. It's going to be the longtime fans that's playing that game for hours upon hours, but we're playing something that's not even, catering to us or not even built for us. And that happens in fighting games as well. But fighting games are a little bit different because it's more of like a one-on-one type aspect. But yeah, that frustrates me a lot, where I will see a game that I love, and I'm reading the patch notes and the developer blog, and it's like, yo, we know we got you, so we're gonna make it however we want to make it. We don't care if you don't like it or not. We know you're gonna play it because you love the series. You know what I mean, kind of thing. Where it's always a focus on, hey, we want to help the newer player or this player to do good, but we're gonna penalize you, the longtime fan. That frustrates me a lot, man. I'm seeing it a lot in a lot of games, more so than just COD.
Gotcha. All right. And then the other side of that question, the dream come true.
Oh yeah, the dream come true is pretty much any type of game that is like fast pace, has like a nice dash and any type of ice ability is a dream come true for me in video games. You have those elements, most likely I'm going to be right behind that game. So yeah, like seeing a game like Stellar Blade, definitely one of those dream come true type games. That Wulong game, playing that demo.
Did you play
that's
it?
Definitely a dream. Yeah, that's definitely a dream come true game because right away they had a class that had like ice abilities, and I was like, oh shit! And then you already have a dash, you already have like a counter, you have a perfect parry. I love those aspects in video games. So when I see more of those games come out, like I'm definitely going to support them.
I thought that demo was fire. I went through that and knocked down that 2-part boss at the end. That boss is wild.
Definitely, I didn't get to the boss and all that yet, but I'm definitely going to complete that. I know you have until like a certain amount of time.
Right. It's a like a time demo, pretty much. Like they'll pull the plug on that sometime soon. I think it's
like 26 or something.
Yeah, it is a 26 because it said submit. I remember it said after I got done finishing it to submit your review by 9/26. So I'm guessing that's when they're taking it off.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Jay Bari, for taking time out of your day to come hang out at TSWS with me, Ham Solo Game today. I appreciate you, bro. I really do.
Yeah, man, it was fun, man. I definitely appreciate the invite, and I mean, you hit me up to come on through. It was definitely a good time being here, and these questions were fun. You know what I mean? You can tell you took your time and you done your research. You know what I mean? To plan out the show, which is always appreciated. You know what I mean? It's not like that's let me rush this type of job. So yeah, definitely appreciate you you invited me here.
Yeah, man. I mean, I try to do my best to, give people they flowers when they on here. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, like, hey, you are appreciated. We see you. We see what you're doing. Or maybe not everybody. Like, some people I have on don't make content and stuff like that. So I just want to give them a platform as well to, speak your mind. What's gaming like to you? Since you're not a content creator, you're just a fan. We need to hear what you got to say as well. So I appreciate those type of people that come on, and I definitely appreciate a person like yourself that you got tons of people that follow you, check out your content. You drove a crowd in here to check out this content today, and I know that. So I am deeply appreciative of that. I appreciate you taking 2 hours, 2 hour plus, almost 2.5 hours out of your day to come kick it with me. And I appreciate y'all in the chat as well for keeping it live, keeping it moving, chatting amongst yourselves, and also talking to us as well. Y'all have a wonderful time out there. But before we get moving, I'm gonna ask Jay Bari to go on ahead and throw out his like where you can find him.
Yeah, man. I mean, you can find me on Twitter, JBari_. You can find me on YouTube, Jay Bari. But yeah, at the end of the day, I would love people to subscribe to your channel. Make sure people come through on here. So anybody that's going to listen, make sure you subscribe to my man right here. Hit the like button and share the stream out, man. Because, looking at your channel, you have a great channel here. You seem very level-headed and sound. So yeah, I think more people like you need to have the spotlight. You know what I mean? Because you're doing a great thing here on the channel. So
I appreciate it, bro. I want you to describe gaming in 3 words for me before I cut this off.
Gaming in 3 words?
Yep, I have every single person do it. Describe gaming just using 3 words.
The best hobby.
Damn. All right, that was smooth. Usually people pick out random words like fun, great, experience. No, but you said the best hobby. I mean, that was perfect. So
I'm a different breed out here, man. You know what I mean? I'm a different individual.
All right. Thank you, bro. Thanks everybody for watching. Make sure to hit that like button. Also share this out so other people within the gaming community can see what Jay Bari Strife is all about, and also share it out so people can see what I'm all about as well. But y'all have a blessed rest of your week. Y'all be safe out here during the weekends and whatnot. Do your thing. Keep it gaming or keep it moving. Peace out, y'all. Welcome to the Behind Them Sticks podcast, brought to you by TSWS Gaming.
Come and talk to me, Lennard Ray. Come on. Come and talk to me. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby. Listen, I'm just saying we can rule the world, just me and you, if you were playing. Won't you take a chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk to me. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Look, see we vibing and you know it's true. Baby, what it do? Do for me and I'ma do for you. No doubt about it, boo. See, I'm a Midwest king, looking for myself a queen. Ready to chase a dream with a dope self-esteem. You find it in all I know, and that's for real. You get to shaking that ass on the floor, and I see what's real. No disrespect, I just